morning everybody. Today we're gonna be servicing this VW Golf. This is a GT version 1.4 Bluemotion. I already have a video on this car, but today we're gonna do just a few extra checks, so stay tuned. Right, I'm gonna be topping up some screen wash fluid. So I always recommend using some proper stuff. It doesn't have to be this make, it can be any make. You can buy this concentrated from any garage, petrol station, mix it yourself, and then you get more for your money. I of course have ready mixed containers already. Right, now I'm gonna be checking the coolant here. The car is a bit hot, so I'm gonna open this cautiously, just pressing it down while I open it slowly. And just releasing the pressure, because I don't want to burn myself. You can get a gadget like this. It's really good for checking the percentage of antifreeze on your car. I can see, you may be able to see this tank here. It looks white here and then orange down here. So it's like a ball. And the correct level is halfway of that ball. And this is halfway. And now I'm gonna check the antifreeze. So what this gadget tells you is at what temperature that liquid would freeze, that coolant. And it's showing me about minus 35 here, which is good. We don't really have extreme temperatures here in the UK, so minus 35 is good enough. And then you have your cap. Just have a quick look at it, inspection, make sure it's not cracked, broken, or anything like that. And then you can fit it back. So as you screw it back on, it gets a little bit harder to screw, and then you will hear it clicking once it's shut properly. So as far as checking the level and the percentage antifreeze, you don't really need to do more than that. It is recommended to change the coolant level every 2 years. So technically that keeps your engine from corrosion. So it's a good idea if you do it. If depends who does your service. Yeah, if you do it yourself, obviously, you can do it as well. We got our screen wash fluid here already topped in. Now I'm doing the oil and the oil filter. So in this car, the oil filter is sitting down there. So we're gonna get it from underneath. And as I mentioned, I already have a video on this car if you wanna check it out. Is the this is the 1.4 GT Bluemotion. It's a 2012 petrol automatic. Right, I'm just gonna open the oil filter cap here, leave it there, and pull the dipstick. And also leave it there. That just allows a little bit of air to come into the system while we drain the oil from underneath. And also, if you are working outside, don't leave this cap anywhere because things can fly in there. I'm indoors, so it's okay, but like you may be able to see, the car has a lot of leaves. If you're outside, these leaves can go into the air, smaller ones obviously, and you may not notice, and then they go into the engine. Today's oil filter. Hi Raja, I'm good, how are you? I'm doing a service on a VW Polo. Today's filter I'm using this Malle OC9771. So I'm just changing the oil and the filter and checking the fluids and topping up fluids and whatnot. What are you up to today? Oh, I'm glad you're good, man. The way I prepare my filter, I get a little bit of multi-purpose grease, or you can use some of the oil you're going to use in the car and just get it around this O-ring. Just like that. I know some people are gonna tell me that you should put oil in here. However, this filter fits this way, so you can't really put oil in here. In other models where the filter fits like this, then you could fill it up with oil. I'm also going to be using a tool like this. This is like a socket. Yep. How you going? I'll be back in a second, just fixing another car. Right, sorry about that, I'm back. I'm in London, mate. I'm in London, Raja. I think I mentioned the size of this socket you're gonna need for removing the oil filter. It's a 76 by 14. Right, there's nothing else to be done here. If you were changing your air filter, that would be here, but I'm not doing that today. This car has only done a few hundred miles since its last service, so even the oil may look very clean. Right, now I'm gonna get the car up. I'm going to remove the wheels for inspection as well. But that's something I do with all the cars I service every year. How long? Oh, I've been working for a long time now in this. Long time. I finished my mechanics diploma, whatever you call it, in 1995. But didn't work in the area at the time because I had some health issues. So maybe 15 years doing all cars. So first I'm gonna check the tire depth. Anybody knows what the minimum is? The legal minimum? These are fairly new. There are 7 millimeters of tire depth. So I'm just gonna check them all and come back to this end. But you can get a little gadget like this as well to check your tire depth. The legal limit it's 1.6. So any lower than that, and it's illegal. In the VWs, all the wheel nuts are covered with these little covers, so I have to remove them all around. And also you're gonna need the locking key to remove the special nut on the wheels. So what are you up to this morning, Raja? Well, it's morning here, kind of. No, it's afternoon now, it's 12. Right, I'm back. This car is a Volkswagen Polo. It's 550 over there. Oh, okay. Are you gonna have some dinner soon? So, by removing the wheels, I can have a better look at the discs and the pads and the coil springs and all of those things. So, if you have a Polo, I'm just gonna show you quickly around. Oops, okay. So, discs and the pads are in here. Actually, I can change the camera around. So we have our disc here, which is, this disc is actually, it's a little bit worn out, not tragically. The pads here, you can see, if I just mark it there, this pad is got around, what, 40%, 50% of life left. However, so the reason I also remove the wheels is because sometimes you can look at this pad in between the wheels, but you can't really see the other side of the pad, which is the one in here. And sometimes one side wears out quickly than the other. So this one is okay. I'm just going to mark it here so you can see the line that I made there. That's the pad. So that's looking okay. However, well, before we go to the other side and I show you, we can, so what I normally do is I also inspect these rubber bushes here. Make sure they're not worn out, torn, leaking, or those ones over there, or these ones here, the CV boot. Normally, if they have if those are torn, you will see a lot of grease everywhere. And also we have the suspension here. Now I can see this coil, this is the coil here, which is okay. But the actual suspension is a little bit wet here. Not tremendously, but a little bit. So it might be a sign that that shock absorber is starting to leak a little bit. And then we have the anti-roll bar link here. You also want to check the condition of the bushes on that, this one and this one. And if I can go to the other side, because my signal is a bit tragic, you may notice that this pad is a little bit more worn out than the other side. So this pad here is got less life than the one on the other side, the driver's side. And yet the inner pad, it's okay. But at the moment I haven't got, so this car may need, to be honest, it may need to have some, the brake fluid bleeding, brake fluid change. But technically the brake fluid, again, should be changed every 2 years. And also look at the corrosion here forming. And also obviously you would inspect on the other side, you would also inspect shock absorbers and coil springs, bushes, make sure everything is reasonably okay. But I'm contemplating at these discs and the pads, and I think they will need replacing probably next year, to be fair. But they are starting to form a little bit of scoring. You can see that. But one of the problems is this car isn't it doesn't drive much. You can see by the grass that is growing all around. We'll give it a wash later. Anyway, that's the reason I remove the wheels, to have a good inspection, brake fluid hoses, those kinds of things. And I do it every year. It's just part of what we do here. Do I have Instagram? I do have Instagram. It's the same name as this. Same name as my YouTube account. So you can find me there. But I do have another Instagram account as well, where I do aviation stuff. I think I need to start doing some storytelling. Okay, now I can get the car up, having had a look, and then drain the oil. Having said that, I'm gonna have a quick look at the back. Shock absorbers are looking a little bit corroded at the back. The coil springs are looking fine. The pads are quite new. I replaced them last year. The discs are okay as well. So depending on how many miles this car does from today till next year, we might have to change the front brake pads, but I think we'll have to, because the pads on the other side of, this is the driver's side here in the UK, but the passenger side, they are looking a little bit thinner, so that means they are wearing a little bit uneven. So it'd be a good idea to give them a change and bleed the brakes. And I'm just writing everything down so we know what's going on. Right. Got the car up, and now I am going to remove this cover. Is just held in by some Torx screws. Removing that cover gives us access to the sump, which is right here, and the sump plug bolt, which is a 19mm, just sitting there. The oil looks fairly newish, but this car gets a service every year, so it'll be a good car to buy once the owner wants to sell it. Right, I got the sump plug bolt. I just removed the washer, which is a little bit squashed, and I'm gonna get another one. By the way, guys, don't forget to subscribe or give me a like. I have a video on this car already if you want to change your oil and filter. I just thought I'll make a live so you can join me, keep me company, ask me any questions, if there's anything you want to ask. I may not know the answer, but I can try. Thank you for those likes, by the way. New copper washer fits the sump plug bolt. If you want to know the size of that copper washer, it's a 14 by 20 by 1.5. 14 by 20 by 1.5. That fits the sump plug bolt of most VWs and Mercedes. so I usually buy a bunch, as you can see. So while that oil is training, we'll just get the I forgot the name. It's an oil. I don't know. Well, the why did I forget the name of that? To catch the oil. So I'm gonna get it just to sit under the oil filter as well, because the oil filter also drips oil. And it's just sitting here. We only need to undo it a little bit with a tool, and then you can actually undo it by hand. So I serviced this car last year. So I always wipe the surface of the oil where the oil filter sits. And just make sure it's nice and clean, so the next filter is going to sit nicely. Less chances of having a leak. And that's the new filter. I already prepared it, as I mentioned earlier. Maybe you saw me with a bit of multi-purpose grease around the O-ring, or you can use a bit of the oil you're gonna put in the car. Oh, Raja, no, I don't speak Hindi. I speak Spanish. Fluently. Spanish is my first language. English, my second language. I should know it by now. I've been here, I've been in the UK for what, 30 years or so. Right, let's put the filter, hand tight. It shows you there how to fit it. You don't need a tool. You'll have to teach me some Hindi, Raja. But I can't promise I will remember. I'm trying to learn French, and I'm struggling with that as well. Right, got it hand tight. You can use your two hands if you want to. It's kind of like 20 Newton meters. If you don't know what 20 Newton meters is, it's a good idea to have a torque wrench, which I'm going to use now to torque my sun plug bolt. We're gonna torque it to 35 Newton meters. So I have all the links for these things on the original video for this car. I think. Right, I'm gonna set this to 35, which is already at 35. Now we can torque our sun plug bolt. As soon as it clicks, it's done. If you notice there is a little bit of oil, you say what you're saying. Right, yes. Okay. Kia car rehe. Oh, I don't know. Kia car rehe. Oh, something like that. Right. I'm going to rinse whatever oil may be there. Oh, thank you. Just using some brake cleaner. Very good for rinsing oil. And leaving the area nice and clean as it was. That way next year, if you have any oil leaks, you're not going to be confused if you left it dirty. Thanks, Raja. I hope I remember that, but I doubt it. I have the memory of a jellyfish, or those other fish that don't remember anything, especially with my trying to, but if I visit you, then obviously I'll learn more. 8 o'clock you're having dinner. What are you having for dinner, Raja? If you find all these little screws have corrosion as well, you could put a little bit of copper grease on them, or a bit of grease in anything, because sometimes they get so corroded that it's really hard to remove them. So if you want to be really methodical about the service on your car, you could, that's the kind of thing I do. I do little things like that. And also it makes it easier because then it's not gonna get stuck next time you try to remove those little screws, because they're really exposed. All the water that gets to them, it's a bit dramatic. So what I do is I get some of this grease, multi-purpose grease spraying version, and spray it on all the little, where these go in. And hopefully the person I do the car for appreciates it. Though they might not know the details, of course. Also, a good idea not to over tighten these little screws. Excellent, that is done. That was a T20. T20 Torx. So, happy days, we're getting there. Finished with the underneath here, got our plate back on. We've tightened the filter, hand tight, and we torqued the sun plug bolt. Just things to remember that we've done. So now we're sure to get the car down and put some oil confidently. And what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to lower the car, fit all the tires back, so bear with me. It's going to take me a few minutes. I put the tires back and I put air in them, just check the air, put air in them. And then we go ahead and put some oil. Oh, you eat rice for dinner? That's cool, that's nice. Do you eat it with, are you vegetarian or you eat meat? I don't know. I eat rice, chicken. This light is, sometimes this light is a little bit too tight, it gives me a headache. Later on, I'm going to be working on a mini Countryman. I'm gonna be changing the belt, the V-belt, and what is known as the tensioner, the pump, water pump tensioner. I'm going to be changing that as well. So that one there. I won't make a live video of that, I'll just make a proper video so you can see it later on if you have a mini Countryman. But for now we carry on with the Polo. So I usually put the bolts in a little bit, screw them in a little bit, because if you do it with the can straight, sometimes you can cross thread the hub, and obviously that's a problem for later. The other reason I remove the wheels is because if you have a tire puncture and then you have to stop somewhere, if you haven't removed the wheels in a while, they get really stuck, and even the bolts can be very hard to remove, and you have a tiny little wrench to remove the bolts. In fact, last year I drove to do some filming of some aviation stuff, and as I stopped in my car and I was waiting, it was raining a bit, so I was waiting for the rain to stop. This lady stopped just by chance, stopped in front of me, and she had a puncture. So as I was just setting up my cameras, I noticed she was trying to remove the wheel nuts, and I thought, oh my god, I need to go and help her really, because it wasn't one, obviously she was a little bit older, she was going to pick up her granddaughter and she couldn't get to the school because she had the puncture. And well, I jumped out the car once I noticed that that's what was happening. Obviously it's difficult to approach people these days because everybody's a bit wary and aware of who is approaching you, and you should, because so much crime going on. You don't know if they're coming to rob you or to help you. That's the problem. And maybe my, you know, looking I had it was wet and it was not, so maybe looking a bit more rough. I didn't want to scare her, obviously. So anyway, she was okay with me and I helped her change the tire and get her to her granddaughter. However, those wheel nuts were so tight and the wheel was stuck. There was no way she would have been able to. When I think about these things, I think about my mum. My mum is 75 years old. I couldn't see her removing a wheel in the car. She would need help, if that makes sense. So if she had to do it on her own, it would have been good that the wheels and the nuts had been removed and whatnot frequently, so they are not tight. Basically, that's one of the other reasons we remove the wheels and nuts every year on the cars that we service here. So yeah, it's good practice. And by the way, I do put a little bit of copper grease on the bolts, just a little bit. It's like it prevents them from seizing up, so that helps as well. And also on the wheel, so on the brake disc where the wheel sits on it, put a little bit of copper grease, and that helps it from, stops it getting stuck basically. So anyway, I'm just fitting the last wheel and then check the air. So air pressures are essential. Oh, hi, Mr. Car. What car? This car is a VW Polo. So anyway, what I was saying about the tire pressures, essential for the wearing, even wearing of your tires. Some people overinflate their tires with the idea that you're gonna save fuel, and you do. You may save some fuel as they are overinflated. However, they will start wearing out in the center quite quickly, and then you have to replace your tires a bit too quickly as well. So in the end, you don't quite really save money. So anyway, on the fuel flap of this VW Polo, there are some there is the recommended tire pressures. And what it says for the front, 38 psi, and for the back, 35. That is if you carry a light load. If you have a higher load, then you have to top them up a little bit more. So this car usually carries one person. So what is 38 psi is about 2.6 bar. And 35 psi for the back is about 2.4 bar. And if you go to a petrol station or something, you're gonna find one of these, and it says there bar or psi or that kind of reading. But you can see on your on your sort of fuel cap. In other cars, it's usually on the pillar on the driver's side. There is a sticker, and it tells you, like Mercedes and whatnot. BMWs, I think they have, or maybe not. Maybe they have it in the fuel flap as well. But it depends on the year. And you should really check your tire pressure regularly, because they have a tendency to the tires lose air. Not a lot, but a little bit. Anyway, don't forget that. Sometimes after you finish your job, you put that on the side and you forget to put it in the car. And if you have a puncture, you haven't got that, you're in trouble. So anyway, I need to remember myself. I'm gonna lower the car and put it in the boot where it belongs. Excellent. Car is down. We're ready for some oil. If you look at your manual, you can see the oil recommendations in one of these pages. Car takes 4 liters of oil, by the way. So petrol engine oil specifications. They usually give you some numbers, like it says VW50400 or VW50200, or for diesel engines it says VW507 and whatnot. So these numbers, when you look on, if you're looking for oil, if you look for oil on online, you can type those numbers and you will get oil that relates to that. And also these other numbers here as well, they give you here other numbers. It says petrol engines standard ACEA A3B4 or API SN API SM. Diesel engines ACEA C3 and whatnot. So if you look at those numbers, you'll be able to find the oils that you need. So if you look at this oil, it says ACEA A3B3 A3B4. So that would be suitable. And this is 5W30. They also do recommend 5W30. So I got 4 liters here ready to go in there. It's a slow process, so bear with me. Right, I made it and I didn't spill any around. So, put the filler cap back on. This is the dipstick here. If you just give it a wipe. If you look at your manual as well, it shows you where the markings are on this dipstick. But basically we have a minimum on this end towards this side, and then a maximum here. So now if I check the oil, it might be a little bit higher than the max, and that is because once you run the engine, some of the oil is going to go into the oil filter housing and to the literally in the oil filter, and it will remain there. So then this oil, if you check it again, it will go down a bit. So you may be able to see the shiny area, but it's up to here. So as expected, that's normal. It looks very clean, obviously, because we just done it. So just to recap, oil filter is on, hand tight, sun plug bolt, tighten, torque to 35 Newton meters. 4 liters of oils are in, oil filler cap is closed, and dipstick is in. Now we can start the car. And I just like to start the car and monitor the oil pressure light just for a few seconds. And if all is good, then happy days. Great, nice, quiet engine. Some of these engines a little bit noisy in time. Anyway, I'm going to put this away now. And then we can reset the service now message that comes up as well. And then I have to give this car a wash. Right, I'm just going to leave the bonnet open because I'm going to rinse all of that there. You can see how the car hasn't been used and is growing some grass. Or, I don't know what that is, weed. Right, so if you put the ignition on, you may have that service now message. And if we just press OK on that, and if I go to the menu there and go down to service, click OK, info, service 100 miles or 10 days overdue. So go back on that. Just say OK, go down to reset, press OK, reset service, are you sure? Yes, OK, service reset. check the info again, and it says service in 9,400 miles or 372 days. So happy days. Now we can go back. And the last thing I am going to do I'm going to plug in my OBD. As you can see, I have a lot of services to do. Okay, if I plug this in, the OBD for this, the OBD port is down here. Really sitting somewhere down there. If I can see it or not is another matter. Ah, okay. This one is not that far back. So I'm just gonna do a quick check of the car, check for fault codes and that kind of thing. Make sure everything is good. I don't really expect anything. There's no engine lights or any faults. Sometimes when the cars are standing, fault codes can be generated, so we can at least clear them out. There's no obvious faults with the car. If you wanted to check fault codes on your car and delete them and whatnot, you don't really need a machine. This machine was a bit expensive. It was like £1,500. Just needed it because it can do a few extra stuff. But these days you can get maybe for £130 a nice reader, which is a launch. This is a Launch Pro something. I don't remember. Launch Pro 5 or something. To be fair, it's a few years old now as well. Right, while that is reading, I'm just gonna get the car out. Okay. All is looking green. So I wasn't expecting any reds really. There we are, that's finished. So there's no fault codes on the car. Happy days. Now we can switch the car off. And I can disconnect the machine. Because we've done the reset of the service. Occasionally on some cars, on some VWs, you can't reset the service or you have to do the inspection reset, and you do need a computer for that. or some other cars, obviously Mercedes. You need a computer, not always. Right, don't need this now for now. Gonna give the car a wash, and we're pretty much done there. So guys, actually I just need to wash the car now. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to give me a like if you enjoy the videos. There is loads of videos. I have loads of videos out there on many cars, not just the Polo, Mercedes, Nissan, Toyota. Maybe not many Toyotas, because Toyotas are so reliable. They're not often here. However, we do have a lot of well, what can I say, German cars, some, yeah, Nissans and things. And my next video I am going to do, I'm gonna make a video of how to fit the front and rear wiper blades on this VW Polo. And also I'm going to make another video this afternoon. If you join me, well, it won't be a live video, it'll be just a normal video, but don't forget to watch it. It will be on a Mini Countryman. I'm gonna be changing the belt and the water pump tensioner, which is this thing here. So I don't know why they complicated their life so much, Mini. I mean, I don't know if it's, this is a water pump tensioner, not the belt tensioner, and it basically works electronically, so it kind of engages the water pump when it's required. But I think it's just a bit gimmicky, really. I don't know if it's a, maybe you guys can tell me. What do you guys think, if anybody knows about it? Otherwise, thank you for joining me. I hope you guys join me on the next my next live, which might not be tomorrow, but maybe Saturday. And if you have any questions, throw them out. If you want to have a chat, we can chat. I'm up for anything or everything. It's all about making connections and friends, I think. So stay safe, drive safe, and we'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for joining me.